Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Wandavision at Season 1, Episode 5, on a very special episode. I love how every episode title has something to do with sort of they're sitcom-y, you know what I mean. The last episode was fantastic. We are getting answers, we still don't know the wider mystery. My theories at the moment are that it could be just that Wanda is like having a breakdown, her powers like exploded out of her, but I think there needs to be more than that. I don't know what the more than that would be. Maybe it's to do with Hydra, that's why we keep seeing the Strucker watches and things like that. But I did notice someone pointed out that the watch company, or one of the adverts, the toaster I think it might have been, had Stark Industries, and that's what, you know, they were trapped in the remains of their flat looking at the unexploded bomb that said Stark Industries and things like that. So there are things from Wanda's brain. So it could be that Strucker is simply just a memory of Wanda's, but I don't know. Was Strucker the one that was in witness protection? Because we still don't know who was in witness protection here. Did he make some kind of deal? I can't remember what happened to him, if he died or not. I feel like he probably died, but I don't know. I think he got arrested, so maybe he did turn over evidence, and so Wanda was going looking for people that had caused destruction in her life. I don't know. So yeah, I still think that Wanda could have just had a breakdown and be involved. As we can see, she's very much controlling it, but I also think there's a bit more to it than just Wanda. But I am loving this show, and this episode I've noticed is about 10 minutes longer than most of the others have been. It's kind of 42 minutes, and I wonder if that's because we're going to have then from now on split between Wanda and Vision, or, you know, whether he's real or not, inside the show, and then the sword agents and everyone else outside. But I am excited. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this on my Patreon, but let's go.
Sort of.
Who is the witness protection person that's gone missing? And I know Elizabeth Olsen said something about a really cool cameo or something that we haven't guessed, so that's intriguing. Are we in the 80s now?
You will be my favorite drink. Come on now, darling, you know we love them both equally.
Don't tell him that.
This is so silly. This is so ridiculous, this show.
Or maybe we just need some help. Hiya, kids.
Oh goodness.
Just maybe we better not.
Do you want me to take that again?
Oh. Oh.
Just take it from the top.
She's acting like they're in a scene.
She just got confused for a moment. She seems fine now.
Oh, he is noticing stuff is up still.
Did you really not see what I saw?
Oh.
She did see.
I'm just looking. Where are the twins? Mommy?
Oh my god. I love it so much. Oh my god.
What's the first thing you do remember?
Like drowning. It was grief.
Oh, Wanda's grief.
You can sit up now.
Tapped into her grief. But I still feel like this could be being done to her.
Monica, I know. Big fan.
We're gonna need to take these again. There's something wrong with the machine.
Oh.
Like I said,
Well, what about our labs?
I need another blood draw.
Are there lasting effects?
See you at the briefing.
There could be lasting effects, Monica.
Wanda Maximoff as one of many victims. We now know she is the principal victimizer. Jimmy?
I don't think it's as simple as that.
Using her powers against the Avengers, is that correct?
Right before she earned their trust and became one herself.
Uh-huh.
Lagos.
I don't believe she has a political agenda or any
Yes.
inclination toward destruction.
Monica, she blasted you halfway across New Jersey.
And I survived because she chose to protect me.
She's holding thousands of people hostage.
How do you know what
She
happened?
hadn't put up her own quarantine. Listen,
Something is happening to Wanda.
Premeditated act of aggression.
No.
You don't.
She's the only one with first-hand experience.
Secret location of the Vision's corpse.
Oh. Yeah, so she was trying to revive Vision. Can you blame her with everything she's lost in her life?
Vision's own living will.
He didn't want to be anybody's weapon.
Maximoff, in her grief.
She wouldn't use him as a weapon.
Alright, that's it for now.
And she's a grieving, desperate person.
Was best in suburbia.
1 second, my loves. by all means, I'm not saying you can discount that Wanda is doing this intentionally, that she is a terrorist, that, you know, maybe grief has flipped her into like back to her evil tendencies. I mean, not that she was ever evil, but you know what I mean, if you're just thinking like the sword agent. I completely understand viewing, like, point A being she is evil and needs to be stopped, but it's an educated time. What Monica described was overwhelming grief. You should also look at it from the point of view of maybe there's something else going on. Maybe this is being done to Wanda, maybe something's gone wrong, maybe we can help Wanda stop it rather than stop Wanda, if you know what I mean. I think, like, he's not wrong in evaluating the threat she does pose, because she's the most powerful Avenger, because we know that if she were to be evil, it would be devastating. But as Monica said, there are lots of points here in her favour. When she kicked Monica out, she could have just rewiped Monica's brain. She could have killed Monica easily. Like, she could have done all sorts of things if she was evil. If anything, this seems like a desperate, grief-stricken breakdown of a person with powers. If you're just going to solely blame Wanda. I still think something else is happening with Wanda, maybe something to do with how she was trying to revive Vision, as we've now seen that. But you have to look at both sides.
What happens when he learns the truth?
He's learning the truth now. He's aware that stuff is very weird and wrong. Oh.
Now, boys.
Got a hunch someone might pop over.
Hi, kiddos!
Yep.
With exactly the item we require.
My kitchen window told me someone had a new... How about Sparky?
I love that he is cracking the code. He knows something's happening.
10 years old.
They're immediately going to become 10.
What I miss?
Love my team.
Holy Christmas.
You really want to go back in there after everything she's put you through?
Yeah.
She felt the grief, and it's the only way to figure out what's happening than to save them.
Or the newborns?
That would mean she's wielding an insane amount of power.
Far exceeding anything she's displayed in the past.
She could have taken out Thanos on her own if he hadn't initiated a blitz. Nobody else came close.
Yes!
Captain Marvel came close.
Her powers came from
Oh.
too, right?
Is she not?
Talking about her, we are talking.
Is it because Carol's not around, or wasn't there when her mother was dying, or something, because she was away fighting? I don't know.
You had a bulletproof vest on when you went inside, didn't you?
Those pants are 87% Kevlar. It's not an illusion. Wanda is rewriting
Whoa.
reality.
Oh.
Top secret communique. Authenticate. Dr. Darcy Lewis findings.
Oh.
High levels of radiation present at perimeter.
Maximoff anomaly.
Oh, come on, pal. What?
Oh. Did he fix him?
Please help me. Where's my phone? I have to call my sister.
Oh.
Take care of her dad. He's sick. Where's my phone? I have to stop her. Stop.
Oh.
She's in my head. None of it is my own.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts so much.
Wanda,
Mm.
this is Captain Monica Rambeau. Can you hear me?
Oof. Yeah.
No joy.
Wait, my controls aren't working.
Oh god, what are they gonna do?
Disregard.
Oh god.
No, the drone isn't armed.
Take the shot.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This will be your only warning. Stay out
Wanda.
of my home. You don't bother me.
But you are the one in control.
What happened here?
I have what I want. And no one will ever take it from me again.
I understand how much you're grieving, Wanda, but this is not okay. Because there are innocent people in there. Oh god. She is grieving and I still feel like something else happened, but I mean, she seems okay with taking an entire town hostage, which I'm not happy with, Wanda.
Paper towel.
Lagos, yep.
How many leaves he ate, I didn't find him until it was too
Ooh,
late.
I love the red tinge around everything. I've noticed it all episode. Like all the people have like the red around them.
Billy, I'm
Just-
so sorry.
Just occurred to me that that's around things that Wanda's controlling.
Don't. We can't reverse death, no matter how sad it makes us. Some things aren't
Wandavision, what happened with him? Wanda.
The man's suppressed personality, and I spoke to him free of your oversight. He was in pain, Wanda.
Vision. Listen, can
You
we...
need to talk to him.
Stop lying to me!
This.
Oh.
All of this. You've never talked to me like this before.
Before what? Before what? I can't remember my life before Western.
Oh.
I don't know who I am. I'm scared.
Mowing their lawns, getting them to dentist appointments on time.
Wanda, talk.
I don't know how any of this started in the first place.
Oh, Wanda.
It's-
What you're doing here, it's wrong. It is wrong.
I don't think she started it. I think she's just happy for the first time in a long time. As much as she went out, they're all powerful and in control. I still think she's hiding from the grief and doesn't remember what triggered it or know what triggered it or something happened to her, but I'm stressed. Who's at the door? Who's at the door? Who's at the door? Don't not show me! Pietro? Ooh! He's not Pietro, but he's her brother, kind of.
She recast Pietro?
You know that isn't Pietro, so someone else is doing this to her. But they've pulled in the X-Men somehow. No. I want to watch more. Stop ending the episodes and just give me more. God, I love this show. I love this show. I love this show. I saw some people suggesting that potentially it could be the Quicksilver from the X-Men. Which kind of makes me sad because, you know, a real Pietro would be nice, but at the same time, he is very dead. So, yeah. Now, the fact that, like, I'm so interested because at this point, we're like, we've crossed the halfway point. There's 9 episodes, right? So we've, like, mid of this episode was the halfway point. They've led us to believe it is totally Wanda. Wanda is in control of everything. Whereas I kind of feel like Wanda is very much partially in control. I feel like she's found herself in this place where she's getting everything she's wanted. She has a family, she has Vision, she can just be happy for once. The burden of having superpowers in the world, thinking she's a terrorist and remembering what happened with her parents and her brother, and like all of that pain is gone and she can just be happy and have a life. So yes, I do believe that she is causing and controlling this, but I think someone else is doing it to her, or someone else planted the seeds that caused it. Like whoever was the person who was, we still don't know who the missing person is that's protection. Like it could just be that Agent Wu, his name Jimmy, was just here looking after your average run-of-the-mill witness protection person who happened to be in Westview. But I feel like it's going to be someone more important. Now, I don't know who it would be. It could be someone that she thought would have the power to revive Vision, because very clearly, I don't think she just stole his body to bury it herself. And the fact as well that his body was being stored in Sword, I can understand if I was, like, if someone I loved was being stored in a warehouse, I would very much want to break in, steal that body, get the hell out of town, and bury it somewhere respectably. Now, I guess Wanda is probably thinking, you know, the goal was that she would be able to, they could knit together his mind without the Infinity Stone. That was what they were working towards in Infinity War. So I could maybe see her thinking, there's going to be some way that I'm going to be able to, we are going to be able to make him come back without the stone, revive him somehow, and that went horribly wrong. That maybe when she came here she found whoever she was looking for and that person led her astray, or their experiment failed. I do believe her when she says, I don't know how this started, but at the same time we have seen that she is able to leave looking all epic and she'll threaten them, but again, she didn't hurt anybody. You know, she didn't, I thought maybe she was going to try and expand the quarantine or whatever, but she didn't hurt any of them. She just threatened them a bit. And I could still see this coming from the place of someone that has lost everything she's ever loved. Even the Avengers. You know, even Steve and Natasha and everyone she was close to has more or less died. So she's really lost everything. Every single time she finds something, finds a family, finds a home, the Avengers is gone as she knew it. the people she was close to within the Avengers are gone. So she is alone in the world yet again, and there are still so many people that hate her and blame her, when, if you've seen Age of Ultron, you know that, like, yes, she made mistakes, but she owned those mistakes and she did her best to fix them. So I do kind of feel like something has been done to her. The adverts are all very Wanda themed, like maybe it is somehow coming out of her brain. I don't entirely know why Wanda would have been like, I'm gonna live a sitcom through the ages. But maybe she did, I don't know. But the fact that just when everything was coming apart at the seams, just when Vision had figured it out, when Vision was confronting her and Wanda was starting to say, like, I don't know how this started, she was starting to admit that something was happening and was wrong, knock on the doorbell rings and Pietro is there. That suggests to me that somebody else is doing this to her, or somehow controlling it. Somebody or something else is using Wanda to create this for some reason. I don't know why they'd be doing that, but that's what I'm currently thinking. Like, it's Wanda's doing it, but someone else is kind of manipulating her into it. And maybe something that would stop her from running away, from telling Vision, yeah, oh my god, we can stop this, like, it's wrong. Because I think the more he confronted her with the truth of, you might have your family, you might have what you want, but everyone else here is being kept from their loved ones and their families, that might help snap her out of it. Eventually, because Wanda is not a bad person. She is currently a very, very grief-stricken person who is, and I suppose, teetering on an edge. You know, grief can make even the best people go evil, and the amount of grief she's had, it could tip her over the edge to just acting selfishly, but I think she's very much reactionary, acting selfishly at the moment. Because, I mean, maybe Wanda's going to become an evil character in this MCU, but that would be a waste. I love that they acknowledged that she could have taken on Thanos, because that was a thing in the movies. Thanos was like, oh shit, and he called down the airstrike, you know. But yes, back to things like the fact that Pietro appeared, someone else to entice her to stay, suggests to me that maybe it was somebody else, and the fact that it was not Pietro, the fact that it was a different Quicksilver, suggests to me that whoever it is it's not Wanda, because Wanda would have had her real brother stood there. Like, when she said she recast Pietro, Wanda would not have recast him. Wanda would have had the brother she grew up with and she loved and she lost stood there looking like he did that day. That suggests to me, and if they're going to say that was Wanda that brought him in, then I don't understand. That obviously the multiverse is a thing we know about. I'm pretty sure the Doctor Strange movie she's going to be in is going to be tapping into multiverses. We know the X-Men are now under the same umbrella as the MCU. So the fact that he is there is amazing, but it suggests that somebody else was like, oh, everything's coming apart, I need to make her want to stay. Her brother, he's Quicksilver, that's Quicksilver, and whoever or whatever it is didn't quite understand or get that that wasn't the same brother, but obviously Wanda is kind of going with it at the moment. I'm intrigued to see whether at any point she's going to be like, but you're not my brother, or whether kind of she is being manipulated into it as well. So at the moment I'm kind of feeling like she's partly being used in this situation, and also partly very much a willing participant, because she's finally at peace and finally with Vision, and she's having a family, and she lost her twin but now she has twin boys, and kind of things for her, she can finally rest and be happy and not be grief stricken all the time, and not have everyone in town constantly blaming her for everything, and kind of, you know, not having everyone treat her like a monster, even though, you know, if word of this gets out, the real world will think she's even more monstrous, even though she isn't. So that's where I am at the moment. I think they've made it seem very much as though, like, Wanda's 100% doing it, and maybe we're going to find out that this was all Wanda's plan. But I definitely am with Monica that there is nothing intentional here. Even if Wanda is the only party responsible, it's not intentional. And even her emerging from the Hex, and being like, leave my family alone, and then going back in, I still think that is very much reactionary, grief-stricken. That is someone that didn't plan this, but has found everything she's ever wanted. And is especially being manipulated into thinking, potentially, that that is everything she ever wanted, and doesn't want to leave. Something I love about this show is that they are kind of not fixing plot holes, because I don't know that they are plot holes, but they are kind of referencing things that we've said, like the Wanda being the strongest Avenger, Wanda being able to take Thanos, and like kind of, I know a lot of people bring up when like, well, obviously, like that was a moment and they referenced it here, and the fact as well, because I remember reading an interview with Elizabeth Olsen where she's like, because I mean, I was one of those people that was like, where did her Sokovian accent go? Huh? But it is true that when you think about Wanda in America, when she's like, Pietro's dead and she's come here, she doesn't have like a complete American accent. It's actually kind of an Americanized version of the accent she used to have. And we saw that when she was speaking to them kind of threateningly, she was a lot more Sokovian. When she's in the sitcom, she's completely American. So I actually think that I like that they're very aware that as a viewers, we're a bit like, where did what? Her accent changed very quickly, what? But it was, if anything, she's trying to mask it a little bit to fit in more or whatever. But I like that they've kind of they've acknowledged that, and they've acknowledged her being the strongest Avenger. And I'm very intrigued about the X. Like, I have, I'll admit, been someone who has been apprehensive about the idea of merging the X-Men with the Avengers. But I mean, I love both. I love them, but together I'm anxious about. But at the same time, if we have a multiverse, then who's to say that the X-Men don't exist in the multiverse? So I can kind of, I don't mind it as much as a multiverse when that's what it's going to be. But anyway, yes, I'm intrigued. And I love that their first kind of hint of that happened in Wandavision, the TV show. Vision this episode, I am stressed for him, partly because I still think he's dead. Maybe if it is just Wanda, whatever she tried to do didn't work. Because when she had that vision of him, he was dead. He was pale or purple. He had the whole, like, he was dead. And when, you know, he said, what is out there? What is the real world? And she said, you don't want to know. He doesn't want to know that he's dead. And maybe this is the only way she gets to keep him somehow. And he is the one person she had left. But I'm so sad for him. And kind of this episode, we've seen over the last couple of episodes, Vision starting to clock that that's a bit weird, that's not right. That his kind of immersion was breaking the more there were the little bumps in the road. And then him getting that email, which was a complete glitch that it got through, because that was not what their plan was, and the maximum effect, and kind of it snapped him out of it, and seeing how scared and horrified Norm was heartbreaking. And then, you know, he finally confronted her about it, which I love. And I love how there is the red tinge over all the stuff that she is controlling or being affected by her. And, you know, he wasn't having it. But the moment when he was like, I'm scared, I don't know who I am, I don't know what's real, I'm scared, was really upsetting, because, you know, that feeling, he still loves her, he wants to believe the best, and then, like I said, he wants to believe that she's only just realised that she's controlling this. And I think at the moment, because he saw it's the maximum effect, he does truly think that it is just Wanda. I don't know. Maybe it's someone that lost a loved one in Lagos and is doing this to Wanda as revenge, and therefore they wanted Vision to realise what was happening. I don't know. Crazy theory number 658 presented to you. But yeah, Vision broke my heart this episode. I'm really sad thinking he might be dead. You know, Vision was a character that I think wasn't necessarily utilised in the best way in the movies, or at the very least, because he wasn't a main character of any of, he doesn't have his own film, similarly to Wanda, and because he was kind of brought in so late and he was created and he was kind of an odd character. I didn't ever feel overly attached to him. I liked him. I'm pretty sure I cried. I was crying a lot in that movie when he died. But my heart, if anything, was breaking more for Wanda, because she'd lost yet another person she'd formed an attachment with. And she'd lost someone else that believed in her, you know, kind of, that was mainly my sadness. But this, getting to know sort of Vision, is he even real? You know, does he exist? Is this person, this version of him, with his thoughts and his feelings and his emotions, is that just a figment of Wanda's imagination, or is he real? And that is such a heartbreaking thing to wonder, for him to sort of not feel safe in his own skin anymore. I'm very much intrigued. And I'm intrigued about the boys, because I love that we have confirmation that Wanda is manipulating any matter that goes into there, potentially including the brains, because Monica's scans showed up nothing. I don't think her head's empty, so she's somehow masking stuff. But the fact that she turned her sword outfit into those clothes, and they were still made of the same material, but they look totally different, is fascinating to me. And there are no children, so it's not like she just picked next door's kids and made them hers. And the boys sort of look similar enough. It's interesting, like, are they also figments of her imagination? Are they figments of her imagination? You know, like, she's given his dead body maybe to life, but has she just invented them, or taken bits of people in town and merged them into children? I'm just intrigued about what's going to happen with that. I don't see it being that when she leaves whatever this is she has 2 sons. That would be kind of strange. I don't know. So I'm really, really intrigued about everything. We have had a lot more answers, but also a lot more intriguement. But the moment when she came out of the hex was so powerful, but also it just shattered my heart to see her that way, because she's very much at the moment broken. And, you know, I say that not meaning that, like, she's broken. Obviously she can heal and fight through it, but that is where she is right now. That is where her life has pushed her to. And, you know, she is someone that has been so frightened of, well, initially frightened, and then she did kind of break through it. But she was always so concerned and frightened that the world would look at her and see a monster. And kind of, we did see her in Civil War kind of reach the point of, like, well, if they're going to be scared of me, fuck them, kind of. These weren't her words, but, like, you know, I am who I am, and if they can't deal with it, fine. But kind of doing actions like this, which are sort of acting the monster, isn't Wanda. Or at least it wasn't Wanda. So I'm very sad for her to see where she's got now. I love our little dream team. Darcy, Monica and Wu working together, the stupid sword man. Like, yes, you do, especially after what they've just seen. You 100% need to look at this as Wanda is the willing, willful perpetrator. But you also need to look at it as maybe this is somehow being done to her. Just because those are both options. Even with what happened this episode, we still don't know for sure. And if you put all your eggs into the basket of killing Wanda, what if they had shot that missile? It had killed her and done nothing, and everything stayed the same. You know, I still think that, like, they don't have enough information yet, which makes me think that S.W.O.R.D. is as dodgy as the original S.H.I.E.L.D. used to be. And they had the excuse of they were secretly Hydra people falls in their decisions. So yes, stress. But seeing them kind of being ignored at every other turn, you know, it's for like that guy, I can't remember his name, but he uses what they say when it helps, when it gives him an advantage, when it goes along with what he wants, and he disregards it when it goes against what he wants. It's very frustrating. But I loved seeing Darcy and Monica connecting. I love them working together. I'm intrigued about who she thought was her aerospace engineer that might help. I can't think of who that would be off the top of my head. But I'm just loving this show. Every single episode, when it ends, you're like, that was great, I'll have the next one, please. I envy and despise anybody that watches this show once they have all of it and they can just binge it. But no, I'm loving this show. We've got 4 episodes left, I think. So much is going to happen in those. And again, I don't know, this kind of has to feel to me of a show that will be a 1 season and done show. Like, it's just meant to be Wandavision, this 1 series show that kind of explores Wanda's character more, gets her from point A to point B, wherever she'll be in the movies, rather than it happening off screen and things like that. Like, I don't know that there'll be more seasons of this, but there also might be, I don't know. I don't know when the Doctor Strange movie she's supposed to be in is coming out. Give Wanda her own movie. But yes, I love this show. Thank you so much. Oh, you can find it unedited on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching.